Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls coming to you from the West Coast. Today I wanted to share a Father's Day card that I've made for my husband, who is Mr. Fix-It. He fixes everything around here, and I really appreciate that because I'm not the best at fixing things. So I use these little tools to spell out Mr. Fix-It. And it's a fairly plain front, and when you open it up, you create like a little Jeep in the workshop, and with the sentiment, it looks like that. So it's a really fun little pop-up card. Kind of creates almost like a little garage with the Jeep out front and the workbench and tools in the back. So anyway, it's a 5x7 card. So let me show you how it's made. Okay, let's get started. So we need 2 pieces of just white cardstock. This one's 5x7. This one's 5x7.5. And on the 5x7.5, I scored one side at 1/2 inch. That's my glue tab that's going to attach here. And then the other side at 2 inches from the end. So that's going to create the little opening, like this. Okay. So let's go ahead and glue those together. So we're just going to attach these to make our top fold 5x7 card. And you want to make sure that it's nice and straight, and that this is all the way to the top. And then just rub that glue flap down really good so that it sticks on there. Okay, now you have your basics of your card. It's going to go like that, and then we're going to put our little front piece on. Now, I'm going to go ahead and mat and layer this before I start decorating the inside or anything. I took a piece of cardstock, this is just craft card, and I put it through like a Swiss dot embossing folder, but I'm going to use the deboss side because it kind of looks pegboard-like to me, which I don't know about you, but my husband has pegboards, so those are common in a workshop, so that's what we're going to do. So just give that a good dose of tacky glue, and we're going to mat and layer the back piece because we want to get all of the decorative cardstock on the back before we start gluing our workbench and that kind of stuff on. So put that in, press it down, give it a good press. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this part as well, at least the backing piece. And I've just got a piece of, it's fairly lightweight card, but it kind of reminded me of concrete. And I've got a sentiment all stamped and mat and layered as well. This sentiment actually came from a Stampin' Up set because I don't have a Crafter's Companion stamp that says Father's Day. I don't know if they even have one and I just missed it or what, but I'm not going to put that on yet because I want to get everything else together and make sure that it's going to fit. Okay, so now we've got that. I'm going to go ahead and do my decorations on the front too because it'll be easier to do when it's flatter. And this is craft card, and I ran it through a wood grain embossing folder, and then I just took some my water reactive seal brown ink and just kind of inked a little bit on top just to give it a little bit more color and texture. And I split that piece in 2 because I don't want anything to interfere with that fold. I want it to fold easily. And if you just put one piece on there and then tried to have the fold go over to both the cardstock and the matte layer, I just don't think it would fold well. And then I have these dies that cut out like the tools, and I've cut a bunch of them. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with them. Get them down here. And I actually cut these all with just white cardstock, and then I used my silver pen and my red pen to just kind of give them some color. So I'm just going to glue these on flat. I'm spelling out Mr. Fix-It in Tools. Hopefully my husband will figure that out. If not, I'll have to tell him. But anyway, okay, that's my front. I'm going to leave that fairly plain because most of the action's going to be on the inside. So then I'm going to build my little workshop first. And to build the legs, I've got two strips that are 1/4 inch wide by 6.5 inches long. And they're scored 1/2 inch from each side. And then, so 1/2 and then 3, and then 1/2 and 3. And that creates a 2.5 inch height. And we're just going to glue those together like that. And there's 2 of them. And these are going to be the legs to my little workbench. And this is just craft card. I did put a little bit of ink on what's going to be the front to darken it slightly so that it would stand out a little bit more against the craft card in the back. That's the only reason I did it. I was going to use a darker brown cardstock and I just didn't, so it's fine. And I've got 2 of those, so do the same thing on this one. And you basically just want to glue them together and make sure that they go flat. And if they go flat, you want to kind of bend them both directions, make sure they'll go flat. So that way and that way. Okay. Now these are going to go in like this to create my workbench. And then I've got 2 strips that are just 1/2 inch wide by 3.5 inches long. And this is going to be the top and the front of my workbench. So I'm going to go ahead and get these legs. I want to go all the way to the outside. Yeah, maybe I'll go ahead and glue these all the way to the outside. So I'm going to glue the little legs of my workbench, the tops of them, to the outside of the here. And again, just kind of hold it flat and make sure it's on there. And then do the same thing on the other side. Okay. That. And then we're going to glue the front of the workbench onto the front like that. And you could probably do this in one piece of card, but I just thought it would be easier and I've got so many little scraps, so it's nice to be able to use my little scraps. Okay, just like that. Now we're going to glue our workbench in, and the way you do that is you want to kind of fold it up like that because your card's going to close like that. And you want to put glue on these little 1/2 inch tabs and then down the back here, but not on the top. So just on the 2.5 inch piece here, and then on the little 1/2 inch piece there. And then you want to lay it wherever you want it, right up against that score line. And then close your card, kind of close your card and push it down to the bottom. I'll show it to you from the side so you can kind of see like that. And go ahead and get those in there. And make sure you get them fairly good and secured before you start maneuvering. And see, now you can see as your card opens, your little workbench is going to open up. And it's going to look like that. Okay, which is exactly what I want. Okay, now before I do the sides, I think it'll be easier to go ahead and put my decorations in. And I'm going to try and do this where I can see it and you can see it. So we'll just kind of hold on to it. And so this is like pegboard, right? So I'm going to hang my tools on the pegboard, and you can do it however you want. And I've got some big ones, and then I've got a couple little ones. And the little ones, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. On the little ones, I'm going to put those laying on the workbench. So kind of like that. So you can see that it looks like they're kind of laying on the workbench or something. So like someone got interrupted in the middle of working on a project, left their tools out. So now we've got all of our tools in there, our decoration on the inside. Now we're going to build up our little sort of garage door wall. So it looks like that. Okay. So now we got to put their piece in here. So for that, I used 2 strips of card. They're 1/2 inch wide. They are 7.5 inches long. Scored on this side at 1 inch. I actually scored it, at 2 inches. I scored it at 1 inch and then realized my mistake. Scored it at 2 inches. Doesn't matter. This is going to get glued down to the bottom, so it doesn't really matter. And then 1/2 inch from the other side. And then I took a piece of craft card and just glued it on the front. And this is 5 inches, but when I cut, you had to cut it a little bit short of 5 inches so it didn't stick up. And you need 2 of those. And we're going to glue these in with our 2 inch on the bottom, right up against here and against the edge. And then we're going to glue that 1/2 inch tab against the top, just like that on both sides. Okay. So get the bottom in there, get the top where it should be, do the other side, and then I'm going to close it up and make sure. So you want to make sure it closes, and then when it opens, it's going to stick, okay? But I'm going to leave that closed for just a second so that glue can grab, because you want to make sure that the glue is nice and grabbed before, is good and strong before you start manipulating the card too much, because you don't want to pull it off. Same on the other side. And get it right up against the edge, but make sure it's not overlapping. And then close. And I'm going to leave that for a minute. And while I do that, I'm going to show you. I made a little, like a Jeep, I guess. And this die set, I actually got off of Amazon. And let's see if I have it. Where did I do it? What did I do with it? Yeah. I got it off Amazon. And you'll notice all the little white die cuts. What I do whenever I get a die set from Amazon, because this is what the die set looked like. It just came with all of these pieces. And anytime you get die sets from Amazon, they're super cheap. The problem is they just come with these like this, and then there's no instructions or anything. And so what I always do is I cut every die that I get from like that out of white cardstock as soon as I get it. And then I figure out from the picture how it all goes together. Let me get it out of there. And those are the tools that I got that came with it was actually a 2-die set, so it came with the little Jeep and with some of these tools. These dies, the browner ones, those are Spellbinders dies, but these are from Amazon. So, but I cut it all out of white, and then I use the picture from my order on the website to figure out how the pieces all go together before I try to cut it in any colored cardstock or anything else, because this gives me a good idea of how it goes together. And then I keep that with the dies so that the next time, and then I bought these empty DVD cases on Amazon and just put little magnetic sheets in them. And that way I can keep the little white die cut in there. One, it tells me which die set is in this case. And it also reminds me so that the next time I cut out all these stupid little pieces, I'll know what works. So like this die right here, this little rectangle with like dashes in it, that's the tire. When I first cut it all out, I was like, what is that? Is that a radiator? I don't even know what that is. I would never guess that that's a tire, because it also came with a tire die, but obviously that doesn't fit. So it was interesting. That's kind of the method to my madness when I get these super cheapo die sets from Amazon. So hope that's helpful. And I'm going to use this little Jeep in here. So see, it's my little garage, and I'm going to put my little Jeep right here, like it's on the, and it doesn't fit in the garage. It's kind of like reality in my house, because nothing fits in our garage because we have so much stuff. So we're going to put a little bit of glue just right down that outside tires. And get it centered. That looks like it's kind of parked in the driveway that way, and maybe being worked on with the workshop behind. See, like that. And then, so it's going to look like that. And then I've got this little sentiment, like I said, that came from Stampin' Up! And I'm just going to put that in the driveway, right? And then, so we want to get a good crease on that, and that'll make it stand up. Get my sentiment in there. And then I was thinking about I have this little piece of silver cardstock, and I was thinking about putting it in kind of like, this, like a garage door. But I'm thinking I'm not going to do that because it's going to hide my tools back there, and I don't want to do that. I want my workbench to kind of show through. So I think I'm going to leave it just like that. So see, it folds completely flat. And you could decorate some more down here, and I'll think about if I want to or not. I'm not sure. And then it opens up and creates like a little book almost, just like that. Isn't that cool? Love the way that came out. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and share your own Father's Day cards that you're making for this is for my husband, for your husband, and I'm working on my father, my actual dad's Father's Day card. Next project. That's the next one I'm doing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Have a good evening. Thanks for watching. Bye.